Welcome to another appliance repair video where you can learn how to repair appliances like a pro. Today we're working on a Whirlpool washer. Yours can be a Kenmore, Maytag. They can be very similar. And the model number that we're working on is underneath the lid. It has Larry Sam November 2000 Papa Whiskey 3. The issue and problem we're having with the washer is that when you put it on a spin cycle, nothing happens. And what's responsible for that is the lid switch, which is under here, which you can't see, which I'll show you in a little bit after removing the control panel. But let me show you what the washer is doing. If your washer is doing this, you can fix it too. Putting it on low spin. Yours might not say low spin, just might say spin. Put it on spin and try it around in that area. And this is the timer knob, and you're gonna pull it to energize it. And you can see nothing's happening. So we're going to leave it at that spot. We'll come back to that as we use a jump wire to bypass the lid switch. And if you have an ohms meter, we can test it that way as well. And lastly, we'll be replacing the lid switch. And to remove this particular control panel, you have two long screws, which I already took out. It's a long Phillips head screw. There's one on each side and one on the right. After removing the Phillips head screw, the control panel comes forward on both sides. If you're grabbing it with two hands, and just bring it on up and back. And here you have the timer, which also can give that issue and problem. And here we have the lid switch. So the lid switch is just a switch that as the door opens, the linkage is underneath, what you can't see. We'll keep the lid switch open. I have a number 14 gauge solid wire that I just flattened out with a hammer that'll fit in the terminals of the switch. So we're going to unplug the washer, safety precautions, and we're going to ohm it out. Lift the tab and remove the lid switch connector. We're going to set your ohms meter to ohms, the horseshoe, or if you have the beeper, you can use the beeper as well. And take your two probes, and you could see what you're going to ohm out is not the ground wire, but the other two wires. The ground wire should be the green wire. You should have 3 wires on your connector. So as it's going in, you have 3 terminals in the switch. So you know you're going to be ohming out the first 2 terminals of the lid switch, which are the gray and white wire. So right now it is working. This switch is intermittent. I just switched the meter to ohms reading. With the lid closed, you should read 1 or 2 or 0 ohms. So we got 2.7, so now it's reading good because the lid is closed. Once you open it, you can see the meter went to OL. I'm going to close the lid, and it's still on OL. See that? The lid is closed. So you could see with this particular washer, I had to play with it
in order to see the lid switch fault. So now we can see the fault by doing an ohms test. We can also see if the lid switch is faulty by using a jumper wire as well.
I'm going to place my jumper in the white and gray wire. On my connector, those are the colors. And you never want to expand the terminals because that'll ruin them. So you always want to use something that is small enough. You can also jump the back of it, the same two wires, but there's a lot of room in there, so you have to hold it. So this is a live test, so use safety precautions. Do not let any wire touch ground because you'll get a spark. I'm going to sit it on top of the lid switch there, and I have gray wire and white wire jumpered.
So if you recall, I have the timer knob on spin cycle right now. When I popped it out before, it didn't work. I am going to pop it out now, plug in the washer, and if the spin cycle turns on, that means that the lid switch is faulty.
Is a lid switch that's intermittently working. We also ohmed it out as well, so we did two tests. One is good enough. Pick your choice which one you want to do. So we're going to replace the lid switch, and I'll show you how. Before replacing the lid switch, make sure your washer is disconnected or turn it off at the breaker.
Next, use a 5/16 driver to remove your ground screw.
We've got the new lid switch right here. It's going like that, and you can see it has a tab that bends, so we're going to take this tab and bend it towards us.
The part number, if you need this particular one,
Whiskey Papa 8318084 is the part number. So in order for this lid switch to come up, it has to be released because it has a link that links into it underneath, what you can't see right in here underneath. So in order to get it out, you have to lift up the lid so that it won't be linked in there.
so hold the lid up as you seat the lid switch in.
And let it lock in. Put your lid back down and the link will go in.
Reinstall your 5/16 screw in the ground wire.
Tighten it down. Hook up your connector. We're going to be placing the control panel now. You can see where your screws are going to go ultimately once you get it in. Grab both sides. Sit it in the notches and push back all the way. Replacing my two screws in the back. Now, when you put your washer on and it reaches the spin cycle, it should turn on all the time and not sometimes. And there we go. It looks like a fix. Music to my ears. Well, thank you for watching. If this video has been a benefit to you, hit the like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.